while we've known for about a month now that Call of Duty Warzone was going to get a new map before the end of the year, we hadn't actually seen it and we didn't know any details about it. But last night at the multiplayer reveal for Call of Duty Vanguard, they did have a small section on the new Warzone map. They showed some images of it and revealed a few details about it, plus some extra bits about this brand new anti-cheat system that they've been developing. So we're going to take a quick look at everything on that now and how that will change the face of Warzone before the end of the year. So here's the top and bottom of it then. Brand new map set in the Pacific coming this year shortly after the launch of Vanguard. No specifics were given, but I would say that they're going to want a bit of breathing room for Vanguard and let people play that and the normal multiplayer first before they get their teeth stuck into something new and exciting with Warzone. Vanguard comes out November the 7th, so I'd guess a month later, maybe first week of December, we'll get the new Warzone map. It will feature entirely new play spaces, new points of interest, lush landscapes through a variety of locations, and as you can see, it's very bright and colourful, quite the stark contrast to what we have with 1980s Verdansk. So it's a fresh new experience for Warzone, and Amos here said that it will allow them to really craft the narrative and events that are in the game now, rather than just being stuck in Verdansk. They're somewhere completely different now, and I think that means that there's a better future for Warzone because they won't have to just keep recycling the same map. I, for one, I'm pretty bored of Verdansk now, and I'd love to try something new. I think in terms of size though, it has to be as big as Verdansk. If it's not, then I think they're missing a trick, and I wouldn't be surprised if they remove that map completely when the new one comes out and just let people play this for a while. Perhaps they'd keep Rebirth or add another smaller map, maybe. We'll have to wait and see. So it will share the same engine as Call of Duty Vanguard, and we know that's the IW8 engine, which is the same as the Modern Warfare engine. So I don't foresee the feel of the game changing much at all. I think it's going to remain the same. It's the same engine. I think perhaps the COD Vanguard guns will feel a little bit different just because they're new. And there's a question if they'll bring that new mounting system into Warzone where you can slide left and right after you've mounted up. And also the blind fire that we've seen in Vanguard, maybe that will come to Warzone as well. Not that that's incredibly effective, but I think if you were to master that system in close range firefights could be really advantageous, but also really annoying at the same time. Of course, Vanguard is introducing a bit of destruction too, and I'm sure that will feature heavily on the new Warzone map. This isn't the kind of destruction that we're used to seeing in Battlefield, of course. I played Vanguard yesterday, multiplayer. I played it in Champion Hill, and the destruction seems very scripted and in very specific parts of the map. It's not as dynamic as in other games, but it could be used effectively if the map design and level design of this new map is tailored to fit that specific type of gameplay. Also, they've got the Demolition perk too. I'm sure they'll introduce some of the Vanguard perks into Warzone. Demolition lets you see the arc of the grenade or tactical that you're throwing. Pretty cool feature. Might come to Warzone as well. Now then, this anti-cheat, there was a little section about this and this whole bit where one of the characters was swinging a banhammer. They're calling this a new multifaceted anti-cheat. They're in the final phases of testing it at the moment, and this new anti-cheat for PC will be rolled out when the new Warzone experience goes live. Now this has to be some kind of custom-made, handcrafted, kernel level anti-cheat. I'm expecting the same kind of thing as what Riot are using in Valorant with their system Vanguard. From my experience, that's very effective. I've played a lot of Valorant. I've never come across a cheater. I don't really hear of people cheating in Valorant either. So whatever they're doing there, it's working. And if they've got a system similar to that or comparable, I think the future for Warzone and keeping cheaters away is looking good. I'm a very positive person though, and we've got to be realistic about this. There's always going to be cheaters, but the fact that they've actually put some time into this and they're announcing it and they're almost using it as a marketing thing here, it gives me some faith that it's actually going to be good. We'll have to wait and see. Time will tell on that one, of course. And aside from that, just the usual stuff. We know that Warzone is going to have free post-launch content on this new map. There's going to be new modes, new playlists. There's going to be limited time modes, events, seasonal events, and something called community celebrations. Didn't give any more info on that one. Naturally, this raises a lot of questions, doesn't it? Because when you think about all the moving parts in Warzone, how is this going to work? What are the logistics of this? Because I think the biggest issue is guns, loadouts. So hypothetically, let's say when this new Pacific map launches for Warzone, again, let's guess it's December, is it going to let you play with all of the weapons? So this will be insane, by the way, if they do this. Modern Warfare guns, all the Modern Warfare guns, all the secondaries, launchers, melee weapons, all the Cold War guns, again, full suite, SMGs, shotguns, melee weapons, secondaries, launchers, and then in addition to that, all of the base game Call of Duty Vanguard guns. That's a lot of guns, right? Like if they do that, that's crazy. But it's a possibility because I think one of the biggest reasons that they'll just let you play with everything is the fact that people have spent so much money and time into unlocking blueprints, operator skins for Warzone, and they become attached to that. Let's say that when the Vanguard map comes out, the Pacific, you can only use Vanguard guns in it. That means that everyone that's ever bought anything, spent real money on COD points, they can't use their favorite guns anymore. They can't use their favorite operators or sprays, whatever it might be. All that would go away. So I think they're in a bit of a pickle here because I reckon what will happen is you can use everything. I think that's what it's going to be. That causes a nightmare for balance, game size. It's just going to get bigger and bigger. And the logic of the game just becomes more and more intense and elaborate. So it will become harder to develop for and manage everything. Perhaps they've ran themselves into a corner here with Warzone, with it all being connected. I love that, by the way. I think it's super cool that they are bridging the gap between every Call of Duty game with Warzone. But there will come a point where they have to go, enough is enough. It's too big, it's too complex, we can't balance it anymore, we're starting from scratch. It would be the bold thing to do for Vanguard, for the Pacific map to do that and just go, listen, it's all World War II guns now. Reality is, I don't see them doing that. Particularly because one of the main reasons that Warzone was so successful was because it had modern weaponry and guns in it, and it's relatable. People know what that stuff is. They see it in movies. Maybe they even own some of those guns in certain countries. And with Gunsmith on top and the loadouts, it just had this cool, relatable factor to it. And I can't see them going to World War II guns only. I think that wouldn't be Warzone anymore. So I don't think that'll happen. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. It's a really, really spaghetti, tricky situation in my opinion. How are they going to handle it? Leave a comment. Additionally, this could affect the vehicles and the kill streaks in the game too. If you think about vehicles at the moment, we've got all modern style transports and helicopters. World War II, they didn't have helicopters. They had an experimental one. But helicopters are quite important to the gameplay of Warzone. So will they just forget the historical accuracy and put a modern transport helicopter in? Will the 4x4 be replaced with a Willys Jeep? Could be kind of cool. And then you've got to think about how they'll change the gameplay, because I think if they just go, oh, here's a new Warzone map, but everything's the same, maybe the appeal of that isn't too strong. I think a lot of people would come back for a couple of weeks and play it and be like, oh, wicked, new map. But then if the gameplay doesn't change and evolve a bit, it might just feel like the same old Warzone. So perhaps they'll start to introduce tanks and planes. It's a bit of a stretch, but maybe. Plane controls were found in the control options of the game. It's a possibility that they could be there on an airfield somewhere in the new Warzone map. Jump in a Spitfire, do a strafe and run, parachute out, RPG someone on the ground. You never know. Some of that Battlefield style sandbox gameplay, again, which Warzone introduced to the COD franchise, starts to creep in a bit more. And the kill streaks too. Does an A10 Thunderbolt doing a strafing run make sense here? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. It could be that this is a Pacific map set in 2021. We just don't know yet. Now, one more thing before we wrap up today. And this is kind of cool, especially if you're a console player. This tweet was posted yesterday by Adam Iskov, and they're a senior development director at Sledgehammer Games working on Call of Duty Vanguard. And as you can see, this is the console version of the game. And finally, they've got a field of view option all the way up to 120, which is the same as PC. Now, there's no confirmation whether this is for next gen only. It looks like this is on a PlayStation, could be PS4, PS5. I think for the sake of parity, they should give people the option in Vanguard, whether that's in the Warzone map or the main Vanguard game, to change the field of view on old consoles and new consoles. But I think they might have to put a disclaimer in there saying, okay, if you're on one of the older consoles and you use a bigger FOV, your performance will drop, you'll get a lower frame rate, because those consoles are so old now. And I think that's one of the reasons that they haven't done it yet for console, because maybe they just can't handle it. But this is great. Finally, it looks like they're listening. They've added that as an option. I think this is going to be perfect for anyone that's got a next-gen console, the PS5, the Series X. It seems like you'll have that option now. Keep in mind, though, this could just be Vanguard. Might not be Warzone. I think it'll be both, though. Makes sense to me. And that's all, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. As always, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. Thank you. It's a great way to help support me. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.